Hello guys, welcome to another episode of Salesforce Lightning Training, and today I'll be talking about attributes. So attributes are a place to store the temporary data while programming, and attribute exist in almost all the programming languages. So how are we going to write attributes in Salesforce Lightning? Let's see that. Okay, I have logged into my developer org, but it seems like the internet is deadly slow. So I'm going to give you. Okay, I know. I'm going to exit this page. Oops, this is not what I wanted. Let me refresh it again. Okay. Mm-hmm. 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 Okay. So let me click on this icon again. Go to the developer console. I'm just opening that in a new tab, and let's wait. Yes, this is what we have created. Oops, I didn't want you to see this. Okay. So anyway, if you remember, in the first day we have created one test application, and it was just showing hello cloud. Okay, let me just switch the app first. Go to sales, our account. Let me just open this app. And it was not showing this white background. To show the white background, I have added a lightning card. So in case you are wondering, this is what I have got. It's not a new thing. If you go to Google and search for lightning card, you will be able to see that. And again, we'll be talking a lot about the Salesforce Lightning Design System. And in Lightning Design System also, you can just go and search for card like so. You'll be able to see that. Okay, so something like this will be starting up here. So you can do two ways. Either you can copy the entire code and you can place it over there in the developer console and save it, or in the simplest way would be to use the lightning component. So if you can see the right hand side corner, there's a button. So if you click on it, it will be going to the lightning card. Okay, so I have used the lightning card. So I just copied this one and pasted here, and I just wanted a title, so I have given the card header as the title, and the icon name will be standard account. So I'll be talking about all of these things later, but for time being we'll be using only two things. Okay, so I don't want that also. So you have seen the first one. Now you know what a lightning card is. So this is what we basically use if we have to get a white background. Say it will look like this. Let me start from the beginning so that you won't get confused. Let me save it. Um, don't mind the hello cloud and all those things. Okay, right now we have only the card header and an icon. So that's what I have mentioned here, the card header and uh, an icon. Okay, so as I told in the beginning, I want to talk about attributes. So in Java or in Apex, you know that we'll have to write attributes like this. Say first name equal to um, Harish. So that will be my name. So here is the type of the attribute, and this is the name that we are going to give to the attribute, and this is going to be the value. So just like this, we have an attribute. So I can either write like this, but what I usually do is that I'll go to Google and search for lightning attribute. So this is how we learn, and this is how we get to know about new and new things. Okay, so even if you're mugging up things, okay, I would highly recommend that you don't do it, because it's Salesforce. Every 4 months, new and new updates will be coming. So it's a better practice not to remember the things like this. So we'll be copying this code and we'll be pasting it, ooh, like so. And then, as I told, this will be a string attribute. So I told the type of the attribute will be string, and I don't want I mean, here it will be the first name. So I can just copy like this and I can give a default value. So here I have declared a string attribute called first name and given it a default value called Harish. Okay, so I don't want that because it's a Java or the Apex way of doing things. So we are doing it in Lightning. So let's change this up a little bit. I'm going to call it as GOT string, and I'll be going to give a default value that's going to be winter is coming. Okay, so I just saved it and let me go and ahead and refresh this. Oops, you're not seeing anything. So why? Because we have stored the data but we are not printing anything inside the lightning card. How do we print it? So there is a funny, I mean interesting looking um, syntax to display the things. So I'll be writing this, then we'll write a v dot, then the name of the attribute which we want to show, and then we will store it. Go back and refresh. Ula. Okay, so here it is. The winter is coming is already showing over here. Now, let me just talk a little bit about this V. V, you can understand it as view, and this will be the view. Just understand that V represents view, but it actually is the value provider of the this particular string. What it does is that it will go ahead and check if there is an attribute named GOT string, and then it will replace this entire thing by the value of the this one. Now we can obviously put say a style zone to it. So I'll get into that when we talk about the styling of components, but just for you to understand, I'll just give a style. So I've given h3. So let's look at how it's coming up. Oh, okay. So there is one more thing. Okay, so even if some of the standard HTML, sorry, standard CSS things are not working, you can always go to Lightning Design System and you can search for text. Okay, and you can see that there'll be a lot of variants over here. So here it's saying, okay, title means it will be looking like this. So I want a bigger one. Okay, I would say heading size large. Do I want it like this, like a big box? Okay, let me try medium. Okay, I want to go ahead with the large size thing. So what I can do is that I'll be copying this class and let me add a div to it, and as the class. Okay, so inside the class I'll be putting this. So what it does is that if I refresh, see the size of the winter is coming is going to be changing to a bigger size. The bigger winter is coming. So what it does is that it will be basically importing the Salesforce Lightning Design System, and I'll be having a separate video only for how we can style our component using Salesforce Lightning Design System. Most probably say like 99% of the time you don't have to write any CSS, but still if you have to write, we can write it inside this style component. But yeah, today we are talking about attributes, so let me continue with that. So right now you have seen that there is a string attribute, so there can be an integer attribute as well. So as you know, integer will be used to store the integer values. Okay, I'll say the number of dragons. Okay, so the default value will be 3. I think it's 3, right? So let me, for the sake of it, let me just uh, repeat this, and let me just copy this and paste it over here, then save it, and let me write something else as well. I'll say um, Daenerys Targaryen has three will be replaced dragons. Okay, so let me just uh, I don't really know how do we spell this DT. So that's why I've just written DT. I mean Daenerys Targaryen. I think it's DAE. Okay, forget it. As I told, if I can Google something. Okay, let me just Google it. Uh, yeah, it's coming up. So let me just copy it. Okay, what's the name? So D and T. Okay, let me save it and refresh, and you will see the magic. Daenerys Targaryen has three dragons. Okay, so what will happen if I forget to put the V? Okay, so let me just try this. So we are used to syntax like this in Visual Force pages. I mean, if you already know what Visual Force is. So let me just refresh it. Oh, Daenerys Targaryen has dragon. So that V is the value provider for the view. So V is very important. So if your value is not coming up, just look at the V part of it. It's that important. Okay, now that we have seen string and integer, okay, let me add one more thing. It should be, uh, what can I say? Yeah, I'll put it as list of string, or I should say just list. Okay, so here I'll be writing the uh, friends list. Okay, so let me add default also to it. So the default will be an array of list. So it will be going like this: Joy Tribbiani, NY or NI. Ooh, let me go with Y this time. I don't know. Sorry, friends. Okay, Rachel Green and oh, Chandler Bing. Now it's going a lot to the right, so I can just put the line breaks over there so that it will look good. Okay, now let me add one more. Monica Geller. Let me save it now. Now, if you look at it, I have created an attribute for saving a list of values. So, and I have named it as friends list. So if I directly put something like v dot friends list, let's see what's going to be shown on the screen. Let me go ahead and refresh this. It's not showing anything. So that means the okay. So here why it's not showing is because I forgot this exclamation mark also. So that's why it is not showing up. So let me refresh again, and it's not going to show anything because it's a list. So what we need is the values inside the list. So what I can put is 0, and let me refresh, save it, go back, refresh. You'll be able to see that Joy Tribbiani has come there. Okay, now we have few more. Okay, so let me put two, 1, 2, 3. So as you know, arrays index start with 0, 0, 1, 2, and 3. Okay, so three things will be printed over there. So in order to print that in a new line, I'll be using something known as line break. So let me just save this. Okay, let me go ahead and refresh. Yay, it's showing up. But there is one problem though. What is that? As the number of entries in this list increases, we'll have to write this code again and again and again. So there is a wonderful thing that's been given to us by Salesforce. It's called iteration. Okay, so let's go ahead and search for it. Or iteration. I cannot spell it. Okay, so that's the first step. Okay, let me copy the codes. Okay, so as you can see, and if I select, so if it's, this is a small tip, like if I select this uh, not nicely arranged thing and click on shift and tab, it will be arranged so that it will be more readable. I think you would already know this if you are working with Apex. Let me go back to the iteration thing. So it will accept items. So items is nothing but our list. So how will I get the list? So I'll just copy the name and put it over there. Is it right? No. As you would expect, I forgot to mention this one. Then and then this. So that will be having a number of dragons. So we can just oops, sorry, we were looking at the uh, friends list. Okay, so let me just copy and paste. So this is going to be the list of all the characters, not all the characters, but some of the characters in Friends. So this will be having all the names in it. So we are going to iterate over this list. So I'm just going to call this as name, and inside the iteration, I'm just going to give, forget about this, uh, like this. I can just call like this. So what does this mean? I'm not putting a v because there is nothing called v dot name here. So that's the one thing that you'll have to remember. So we just need this syntax just to check if it's working. Just let me remove this, and let me put a paragraph. uh, my favorite friends, I E N D S characters. I don't know if it's the same for you too, but yeah. So let me just save it and refresh. Drum rolls, friends, because it's already coming up here, right? Now I can just make it bold. So normal things like bold will work with lightning things, but not everything is going to be working with the lightning components. So let me just put it and refresh. Yes, okay. So these are my favorite friends characters. What are yours? You can let me know in the comments. There is one more attribute that I want to show you. Like if you already know, in Salesforce, we have so many accounts and opportunities and custom objects and standard objects and all those things. So how can we store a particular S object? So I can just mention it as account. So the type will be account, right? And I can just name it as account, and I can just give a default value also. So in real-time scenario, we'll be querying it from the backend and storing this particular data inside this account. So for default, I'll be giving like this. So here, in order to tell the Lightning component that it's going to be an S object, we have to write S object type. Okay, so it should be S object type, and a subject type will be account, right? So we are going to basically store an account data, and then again, um, say for example, I'm going to give it a name also. The name will be let me take Joey only. Okay, okay, now I can show this one also. How will I show this? I'll be just writing div. Now I will be writing, yes, uh, this syntax dash dot v dot this object name, and it's an object, so but we need the name of that particular object, so account dot name. Okay, so we'll be writing account dot name. I'll be writing just to show. Okay, will be account dot name. Okay, let me show that in the browser how it is going to look like. Okay, name Joy is appearing over here. Okay, and there's going to be one last type of object, and and there's going to be one last type of attribute, and that's going to be object. So if you already know JavaScript, that's not going to be a new thing to you, but you can just write object. You can just write it as JSON object, and then we do not need a default value or anything like that. But yeah, as we progress our classes, you will come to know that we are not going to be giving any defaults. We'll be getting the data from the backend, and we will be showing it over here, and this is how we'll be writing attributes. Okay, so far we have seen like how we are defining attribute, and we are showing the uh, attributes inside lightning card, and lightning card is used to show the white background. So if you remove the white lightning card, you will not be able to see this white background. So let me just save it, as I have few minutes left. Ooh, it's so ugly. So let me just go back and just put them back, so it will be nice and good. So if you want to know more about the attributes or anything like that, you can just go to uh, yeah, as I said in the first class itself, Google is your friend. Okay, you can use it a lot. And so if I go through this one, you can also mention required or not. And that will be like you can just mention it as required equal to true or false. So by default it is false, so I can just give it as true, so that whenever someone is going to use this component inside their attribute, they are supposed to give a value to this particular attribute. So we'll get into those details later, but yeah, these are the things. So if you want to just know about that, you can just read this. In access is like so in Java or in Apex, we'll write something like private string first name equal to Harish. So here, this is the access specifier. Just like that, you can also specify the access to private. So that means this particular integer uh, attribute, the number of dragons, can be used only inside this component. It cannot be accessed from outside this component. So someone is putting this component inside their component, they will not be able to change the value of this particular attribute. So that's what the private means, and then global is also there, and then private and public. So the default one is public. Okay, yeah, I think that's all for today. Stay tuned for the next one. We'll be seeing you very soon. Tada, take care.